Cliff Richard, born Harry Webb in 1940, rose from the quiet streets of Hertfordshire to become one of the most iconic pop stars in Britain. The late 1950s was a time of change for the nation, still recovering from the war and searching for a new sense of identity. In the midst of this transformation, Cliff's music emerged as a beacon of hope and youthful rebellion. At just 18 years old, he became Britain's newest idol, with an energy that captivated audiences. His fame came swiftly, with crowds of screaming fans and an ever-present media spotlight. Yet, despite his overwhelming success, Cliff stayed rooted in his family home, a shy and humble young man trying to balance fame with his personal life. Fame came too soon, and he struggled to navigate the expectations that came with it. The pressures of fame and his personal discipline. Cliff's rise to fame didn't come with the typical excitement that many would associate with celebrity. Behind the bright lights and loud applause, he was overwhelmed by the pressures of being the face of British pop. Producers and fans wanted him to be like Elvis, both clean and daring, charming and safe. Cliff learned early on that in order to survive, he needed to maintain control over every part of his public persona. His discipline became his foundation. He studied his interviews, polished his speech, and kept a tight grip on his privacy. While other stars courted scandal, Cliff kept his distance, guarding his personal life like armour. His approach to fame was about preservation, not indulgence. Every piece of himself he gave away, he knew, would never come back. Love and loneliness. The price of fame. While his career soared, Cliff's personal life became a source of curiosity. Fans and the press were obsessed with finding out who the man behind the love songs was in love with. Despite having the looks, talent and charm that could have won anyone's heart, Cliff never married, and his romantic life remained private. He did have relationships, but none lasted, largely because of the all-consuming nature of his career. His first serious relationship with dancer Delia Wicks was filled with affection, but the relentless schedule of tours and media events pulled them apart. Delia's letter years later telling Cliff she loved him but couldn't wait any longer became a silent reminder of the sacrifices fame demanded. It wasn't that Cliff didn't desire love, it was that he couldn't give a partner the life they deserved while living out of suitcases and performing non-stop. The life he chose. Faith over romance. By the time Cliff reached his late 20s, something inside him had changed. He had begun openly speaking about his faith, which provided him with a new perspective on life. To him, marriage wasn't just about companionship, it was a promise that couldn't be made lightly. He realized that in order to truly honor a relationship, he would need to be fully present, something he couldn't do while touring and performing hundreds of nights a year. This realization slowly shifted his desires from romantic love to a deeper sense of purpose. Music and faith became his constant companions. His discipline, which had saved him from the dangers of fame, now kept him from exploring love in the traditional sense. What began as a promise to himself turned into a way of life. He would always be the performer, not the man with a wife and children. A deep friendship that defined him. In the early 1970s, when Cliff's fame was at its peak, he met someone who seemed to understand the life he led without needing to be part of it. Their relationship wasn't romantic, but it was deep and lasting. She was grounded, kind, and shared the same values that Cliff held dear. They connected over their mutual love for music and faith, and their friendship blossomed, becoming one of the most significant relationships of his life. It was a connection built on trust, respect, and understanding, not the kind of love that the public expected. Their bond was proof that affection could exist without the need for romance. Cliff always drew a line between closeness and commitment, understanding that companionship didn't need to lead to marriage. This relationship, though never fully explained to the public, would remain his emotional anchor throughout his life. The role of faith in his life and career. For Cliff Richard, faith was never a public performance. It was a deeply personal discipline. In 1966, at the height of his fame, he made the life-changing decision to dedicate himself to Christianity. This was not a passing phase or a publicity stunt. It became the lens through which he viewed the world. His faith gave him clarity and purpose, but it also demanded sacrifice. Cliff believed that marriage was sacred and shouldn't be entered into lightly, which is why he never pursued it. He feared that dividing his life between faith, career, and a wife would ultimately lead to neglecting one or all of these commitments. To him, living a life of discipline was a way of honouring both his faith and his music. And this decision brought him peace, even if it left him without the traditional family life that others had, the speculation and silence of his personal life. As Cliff's fame grew, so did the speculation about his private life. The press, hungry for answers, scrutinized every interaction he had, especially with women. The public was eager to know why a man who sang so beautifully about love never seemed to settle down. Despite his success, Cliff refused to engage with these rumours. He saw fame as something that invited projection, and the more private he became, the louder the speculation grew. Cliff refused to let the world decide what his happiness should look like. Instead of answering questions about his relationships, he chose dignity, letting his silence speak for him. He knew that not every story needed to be told, and that his life, lived without the need for approval or scandal, was enough. Loneliness and the price of his choices. Cliff's choice to live a life of solitude came with its own set of challenges. He had friends, a community of people who supported him, but he never had the romantic love that many of his peers enjoyed. As he grew older, he reflected on the sacrifices he made for his career and faith. There were times when he felt the pangs of loneliness, especially when he saw friends settling into family life. Yet those moments of doubt were fleeting as he found peace in his music, faith, and the deep friendships he had cultivated. He didn't regret the life he had chosen, even if it meant missing out on marriage and traditional companionship. His career, his music, and his faith became his family, and he was content in knowing he had given everything he could to his calling. A legacy defined by music, faith, and loyalty. Now, at 85, Cliff Richard's legacy is one of grace, conviction, and unwavering loyalty to his music, his faith, and his friends. He has lived a life that many couldn't understand, but one that he has embraced fully. His decision to never marry wasn't a result of loneliness or avoidance. It was a reflection of his deep commitment to his purpose. Cliff believes that love doesn't have to come in the form of marriage, and that true fulfillment comes from loyalty, service, and the connections we make with others. His life is a testament to the power of faith, the importance of discipline, and the peace that can be found in living a life true to oneself. The enduring strength of a quiet life. Cliff Richard's life has been one of quiet strength and determination. He has faced public scrutiny, personal doubts, and the pressures of fame, yet he has remained steadfast in his convictions. His story is not one of loneliness, but of a man who chose to live with purpose rather than convention. He has never allowed the world to dictate his happiness or his path, and as a result, he has created a life that is uniquely his own. His music has touched millions, and his faith has been his anchor. Though the world may never fully understand his choices, Cliff Richard knows that he has lived his life with integrity, and that is enough.